Guys, welcome to Boxing Block Center, the home of Nigerian African boxing. Please, if you're new to this channel, make sure you click the like and of course the subscribe button right now. We are live, and please, if you're watching, make sure to like the video, share it, because this is a live debate, and it's gonna be very interesting. Last night we had, I have to say, a bombastic discussion. I won't call it an argument, discussion. My brother Clement, Kidichuku, and Adewale went hard. It was crazy. But now, Deontay Wilder knocked out Robert Helenius in the first round. Just a few seconds before the end of the first round of the round. It was a fantastic knockout. Deontay Wilder, I have to say.
Those beatings he took from Fury. Obviously, I'm not a massive fan of Wilder, but you have to give the man his props, man. You have to really hand his flowers over to him, because it takes a man's man to come back into a fight like that, full of confidence. Yes, he was a little bit nervous in the first few seconds of that fight against Helenius. You could see the way he was moving around. There was a bit of nervousness there, but that is normal. All right, that is absolutely, completely normal. For a guy who lost his last two fights, and now he's back in there with another guy against another guy, and he moved a lot, and then he had this opportunity. He threw the right hand, But what really impressed me, normally, when a lot of Wilder's um, punches, especially his right hand, normally telegraphed. Yes, very quick, but telegraphed. But I didn't even see that coming at all. The way he did it, it was so short, it was so quick. Very impressive. I was very impressed, and I'm still very impressed. Although I would have loved the guy to have put in a bit of, a few more rounds in there. I would have loved to see him do another three, four, five rounds, 6 rounds, just to test some of the things he's been working on in camp. Unfortunately, yeah, he knocked out Helenius in the first round. I am very, very impressed, extremely very impressed. It's not only because he knocked Helenius out. That's not, yes, I'm impressed with that, but that's not the main reason why I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the fact that this guy got beaten in the last two fights and he came back, with such a devastating performance, you know. So it's just the guy has got heart, man. He's got serious heart. Like I said to people, I don't think one has got the best chin, to be honest. I actually don't think his chin is great. I just think that his heart is so big and so strong that that has now translated into a chin for him, you know. So yeah, very impressed. It's just that I don't know how to really gauge Wilder right now in terms of when he gets in there with some other live dogs. Because we didn't really see much. Actually, we didn't see anything yesterday. Just put it that way. I really did not see much. I didn't see anything other than the fact that Wada moved around a little bit and he got his opportunity. He knocked him out. But you know what? Give the man his props, man. Respect to the guy. He's a warrior. He's a great fighter. Um, I just look forward to his next fight. I hope that all this thing of you're on that side, I'm on this side, and all this nonsense will stop. And these guys can actually mix it up properly. I'd like to see Wilder in there with AJ. I'd like to see Wilder in there with Joe Joyce. I'd like to see Wilder in there with Usyk. I'd like to see Wilder in there with Andy Ruiz. I like these guys to mix it up, especially this generation of heavyweight fighters. I like to see them mix it up. I would not be happy if AJ and Wilder don't fight. I would not be happy if I don't see Wilder against Joe Joyce or Usyk. So I just really hope that they mix it up in the coming year. But yeah, to Wilder, props to him, man. Well done. Um, and for people saying that Helenius took a dive, I'll say this to those people, right? How about you go in there and take a dive against Wilder? If that's what you believe, how about you walk yourself up there, get in there and see if you're going to survive a second? So I do not believe that there wasn't any funny games. What I would have preferred though, like I said behind the scenes, I would have preferred Wilder to fight someone who is not in any way, someone who doesn't have any relationship with him, you know. But in saying that, still, Wilder he put in a great performance, and I'm very impressed. And kudos to him, man. Let's just hope that we'll see better fights. You know, yeah, that's all I've got to say for now.
Well, I mean, people who are suggesting that Illinois took a dive, they are not. I mean, they have their own opinion for sure. They can believe what they believe. In my opinion, Water has never knocked anybody out. Um, with a through a short distance. Never seen him knocked. Listen, has Water ever knocked anybody out like that? Like, with a short punch.
No, he has not. But we're not gonna always conclude that this is how a fighter will always fight. We don't know what he's been working on. We don't know if Malik Scott has been able to fine tune the way he throws his right hand that don't always wait to get the distance. We don't know how many times he has practiced that in camp. We don't know how many sparring sessions he has had practicing that. You know, so for a fighter who wants to improve, you always have to show something new. So he's probably just showing us something new to say, listen, if you're always thinking I need to have that distance before I can throw the right, no, now I can throw the right even without the distance. Yes, I know Elenius has been knocked out. He was even knocked out by Jared Washington and all of that. But still, Wilder showed us something different. So you can't. It's not fair for people to say that Helenius took a dive. Like, I don't understand. You saw the man. I was scared for the man. It looked like the man was. He looked dead. And he looked like, see, the guy was trying to get up. He couldn't. He couldn't even move his body. He was stiff, man. Why would anyone want to put himself through that risk to go take a dive against a guy like Wilder? Like, I'm just going to be there. I'm going to allow you hit me because I want to take a dive for you. What about if he dies? What about if something happens to him? He suffers serious concussion or brain damage or brain injury? No, he didn't take a dive. He was a perfect punch, hit Helenius in the right place, and Helenius went down. Helenius has been knocked out cold before as well. His defense is not that great. But in saying that, that is nothing against Wilder. Wilder did what he had to do. But like I said, I would have preferred to see more rounds, just for me to see if Wilder is able to sustain the way he was moving around, if Wilder is able to sustain more pressure, because that was what happened against Fury. Wilder could not sustain the onslaughts that Fury was putting on him. So I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see someone actually put it on Wilder, like proper onslaughts, and see how he's going to survive. But I didn't see that yesterday because the fight did not go beyond the first round. So, but for people saying that it's a dive, I don't think that is fair. Wilder would have been working on a lot of things, and maybe just show us one of the things he's been working on.
Yes, but I have to agree with you, in a way, because I myself, I don't think that was there's no way he would take a dive when like you can hear the sound, bro. Let's listen to the sound of that punch again, bro, for you to know the sound of it. Listen, the sound alone. It was so fast, and to the point where like you can't. It's the sound. It says otherwise. So this is one of those things that happens. But I know some people will say, well, Helenius have gotten up from such punches before and stuff like that. But none of those guys, I don't know, Helenius, everybody's fought. I can't say they hit hard as Wilder. Wilder hit very hard. Very, very hard. Now let's get back on here. Clement, Clement, how are you doing, bro? Yesterday was one hell of a day. Last night. You guys, I couldn't speak. You guys were like arguing stuff like that, man. I'm not really happy that insults got in. It's not nice to always insult anyone, bro. But I know as men, you guys need to iron it out. So, what do you make of this of the fight last night?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. Yeah, yesterday, well, it was unfortunate that at some point we had to exchange some words, which is normal. We are human beings, and sometimes feelings come into play. If I recall, someone or two people started calling me casual, or a casual rather, and I had to respond. What do you expect me to do? Anyway, that by the wayside. I watched that fight last night, just like so many people did, and what do I have to say about that fight? I don't know. It's a lot of mixed reactions. I am not a Wilder supporter originally. In fact, originally I'd never liked Wilder, not because of what he did in the ring. I'm one of those people that said Wilder's level of opposition is too low for the kudos or the encomiums he gets. Because I've gone through his resume and I'm not really impressed as at the time he was fighting. Because you have to look at every fighter and the level of opposition he's facing at the stage of his career. At that stage of his career, I felt Wilder wasn't doing much, right? So I said, no, I'm not impressed that he's knocking these guys out. And then the fought Tyson Fury, and I'm like, okay, you see it right there. When he stepped up, he was found wanting. So that was me. No, now going to yesterday match against Helenius, can anybody take away from the fact that Wilder was supposed to win that fight? No. And for his fight against Helenius, I won't even criticize him because he's coming from 2 back-to-back losses. Some people say 3. Some people will tell you he lost the first fight against Fury. And yes, he's justified in fighting an Helenius in a comeback fight, even though I feel that Helenius is not a top tier candidate. He was beat by George Washington. Come on, not to even mention De La White. But I feel Wilder needs to find that level of opposition. If Wilder has fought a Pianeta, I still won't criticize him because at that stage or at this stage of his career, coming off two losses, he needs to build his confidence back and come back into the metal or into the kind of fighter most people knows him to be. So I was supporting Wilder. I don't like Wilder doesn't mean I hate Wilder. So many people think watching boxing and watching people perform is all about like and hate. It's not really about like and hate. Like or hate doesn't win fights or doesn't take out the place of objectivity or a person perception. 10 people can see one thing and interpret it differently, right? So I watched Wilder versus Duapos. For people that said everybody that Wilder faced, all of them has tested the canvas or he knocked them out, that is a lie. So if you are in doubt, go watch Wilder versus Duapos. Wilder hit this guy with all kind of right hand, all kind of shots. That guy didn't go down. He was stopped on his feet, right or wrong. He didn't knock him down. So yesterday fight, I was expecting Wilder to win, obviously. And when he started, I saw him moving about, which I was impressed about. But in between, I felt some of those movements was more like him trying to warm himself into the game. It was not really more about skill. Because we saw him perform against Fury the third time. He tried to go to the body more, and that didn't even last for more than one round or few seconds in the first round. Tried to implement a new game. So, like my Ojo said, yes, I would have really loved to see Wilder come to show us the new stuff he has learned in training. His movement was beautiful. I can't take that away from him. That movement, whether he was trying to gain confidence, whether it was a beautiful movement, I was like, wow, this looks aesthetically beautiful, you know. But I just was looking at something before I bring my head back. I saw that the fight was over. I'm like, what's going on? Like, the fight is over. I saw Helenius on the canvas, and then I watched the replay. For people that are saying, "Oh, this human hand is not a bomb." Part of human body, the loudest sounding part of the human body is his voice, right? Is his voice. So when a human being sings, let's say Burna Boy, any musician go to perform, when take away the microphone from them and tell me you can hear them, you won't hear them in such crowd. So yes, there was sound. Those sound you had was brought about by all the microphones and all the sound devices in what do you call it, on the platform. You know, it wasn't like whether hand has suddenly turned to a grenade or a bomb that explode. Come on, I watched Wilder against Fury in Los Angeles here. All the knockdown never sounded that way. It's different when you hear it on the audio or when it's being replayed, because now the amplifiers and all kind of sound device makes it sound much more than it is. But put that aside, I saw Helenius on the floor and I watched that knockout like 10 times. So two things started going through my mind. It's either Helenius is so much of a bomb, really, because now we are talking of a fight in the very first round. At 2 minutes into the fight, you can't tell me you are a professional boxer and you are so exhausted and that you can get knocked out and act so badly out the way Helenius was on that canvas. He acted like he was hit with a devastating punch that Wilder has never hit anybody with. I'm like, bro, this is 2 minutes, 7 seconds into the fight. And Wilder is hitting you with a punch from a defensive position. Because this is what happened. Helenius he threw a shot that hit Wilder, I think, to the left hand. Then he tried to sneak one to his body down the pipe. Then Wilder was trying to come out, like he was trying to come from a defensive. You know, somebody is coming at you and you're trying to attack the person in a defensive way. Not that you are in control. That's what Wilder was trying to do, to come out from that situation with his, I think it's left, short left. Then that grazed this guy close to the chin all the way. He went down. Good. If he had gone down and it was a knockdown, maybe. But when he went down, he sat there like Anthony Direl did against Killer Plant. Anthony Direl against Killer Plant and Anthony Direl was very understandable, because that was a clean punch over a couple of rounds. The ninth round, they're falling to the floor several times. It was tired. And for those citing Rolly Romero and Tank Davis, that fight was the same. That one have gone rounds, and these guys, of course, exhaustion has set in, mental fatigue. You can, any punch can get you at any point of that kind of fight. But in this case, bro, we are in the first round. Somebody is hitting you from a defensive stance. You know that Wilder was in attack mode. He wasn't in attack mode like he wanted to attack and land the punch. No. You understand? It was more like,
Yeah, bro. Are you busy or what? What the
no,
lot of
no,
noise there? Okay.
hold on, hold on. Okay. Hello. Sorry.
Hi.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, it's upside down.
Okay. Looks like we lost our brother. Let's go, bro. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay, you're back.
no, sorry. I was having a slight issue. So what I was saying is this:
And I
that
don't even.
fight was in the very first round. That punch, the position, the stance of that punch doesn't really justify Helenius' reaction. Except you are telling me Helenius is such a bomb, or anybody can go and do that. A non-boxer can act that way, but I'm looking at it from a professional perspective. Someone who is a professional boxer in the first round of the fight, going flat on the canvas. Maybe it was not a fix. Maybe it wasn't staged. Maybe Helenius was that just bad of a fighter. Maybe we have to give Wilder the credit that his hand is so much of a magnetic force that once it touches you, you are going down. But I've seen Wilder touch many people and they didn't go down. So I'm confused at this point. Should we say why when anything Wilder touches wants to gold? I see that against Tyson Fury. I didn't see that against Duopas. I didn't see that against bombing Steven in the first fight. I didn't see it. So I'm wondering, like, yes, Wilder is a good puncher. He has power in his hand. He has a lot of knockouts. But in all of his fights, he has over 40 fights. I've not seen a fight in all of those 40 fights to compare to. Yes, Wilder has done this in the past. So yes, it's not a surprise. He's only repeating it. Come on, even Mary Scott's knockout was better. People call that staged. But when you look at this one, you will say, no, Mary Scott was not staged. It was a clean knockout when you compare it to Helenius knockout. You know? So people like, they want it to seem like I hate Wilder. I don't hate Wilder. I hate what he represented in the past. But these days, he's trying to change that. This is becoming, I think it's becoming matured and more of a better character-wise. You know, not 100%, but Wilder is changing. You know, he's becoming more matured and more reasonable, respectable, which is cool. You know, so I won't lie about that. But I will call a spade when I say it. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that I hate the fighter. It's just my opinion, which might be wrong, because my opinion is based on facts, and I'm trying to juxtapose that with Wilder past fights, the round of that fight, and every other factors to say, oh, something doesn't add up. Because if Helenius has, even if it was a knockdown, then he hit the canvas, then he gets up, he couldn't beat the count. I was like, okay. The referee asked Wilder to move to the side, and Helenius was still there, like helpless from that punch. And I'm asking myself, is it from that punch that I just saw, or did Wilder throw any other punch that I missed? So I watched that fight, the replay, like 20 times. I'm like, what? Man, I'm speechless, bro. Because yes, we know Wilder is He's a powerful puncher. We saw what he did to Dominic Brazil in the first fight. But what did he do to Dominic Brazil? He came out full sling. That was a clean, straight shot from an attack position. Against Helenius, it was from more like a defensive position, a shot that was diminished in power because of the stance it came from. It was not a full, it was like a short punch. He tried to escape Helenius' right hand. Then boom, he glazed him. But this guy is going all the way down. I'm like, man, I was happy I didn't buy the pay-per-view because right now I believe if you want to buy a pay-per-view, it has to be against somebody with a good chin. Because if that is the result, I pay $80 and in 2 minutes and 7 seconds, somebody is hitting the canvas, then it's not worth it. You can as well field me against Wilder, let him knock me out in 1 minute and pay so I can have a good payday. That's the point I'm making. Because we're talking of professional sports here, where people pay to watch. People should be having some value for their money. So I'm looking at it and be like, come on, this doesn't seem to me like a fight where it doesn't look like a pay-per-view worthy fight because this Helenius of the guy is not that good. Like come on, it makes me look like it's a bomb, a total bomb. I shouldn't have seen that fight in the first place.
Bro, so Helenius is not a bomb, bro.
No, that's what I say. It makes me feel like I can't say anybody who climbs the rope is a bomb, but that's what it makes me feel like. Like you can get hit by that punch and it's over. Like
why don't you give Wilder at least his props the power for its power?
Yeah, I said it from the outset that Wilder, I love his movement. I don't know if that is a new skill he has added to his repertoire because that movement didn't last more than 1 minute and the fight was over anyway. So I don't know. But I love that movement. If Wilder keep that movement on and he actually had the power that we saw last night, then he's going to end up being the best heavyweight. He's going to beat Fury next. Because all he needs to do is to land that same punch. He move around a little, land that same punch, and it's nice. He's going to do that to AJ. He's going to do that to Joe Joyce, and everybody will be out. Everybody will be out. If you are talking of in 1 round, Wilder is going to end every heavyweight of today. In fact, heavyweights in the past era, he might end their career if that is how powerful Wilder is from a defensive position. Don't let us forget, that shot was coming from Wilder was back to the rope in a defensive position, trying to come out from that situation. Then, boom. If that's how Wilder hits, if that's how hard he hits, then everybody, we cannot honestly sit here and say that any boxer has a chance against Wilder. We can't be doing that. It will be wrong. But if that's not the case, we can say that Helenius is a joke in a way. If any boxer, because I saw Duhapos is not even talked about in boxing. It took Wilder 10 rounds to stop him because the referee said, "Oh, okay, maybe you've taken enough." And look at that fight. Wilder was also disfigured. Duhapos scattered Wilder's eye. He left that eye with a swollen eye. Go and watch the fight. He's there. He's not what I love or hate. He's there.
Wow. So guess who's here, bro? Tajagbe. So the right guy is here, and he's not a Deontay Wilder fan, but he does like Wilder, and he was speaking as he is. So people say you were biased, Clement, but I know that your point. I understand your point, but it's just that not everybody will accept it.
Everybody doesn't to agree with.
No, muted, bro. Let's get around here at Tajagbe to give us. Okay. Tajagbe, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
How is everything, man? You watched that fight last night?
Of course, I watched that fight, man. So I watched that 10-second fight.
Your initial thoughts, bro?
Man, listen. Let's just be honest with ourselves right now. We all expected that, exactly what happened. What Wilder did, we expected exactly that. I mean, it's Helenius. What has Helenius done in the division that makes it seem Wilder is this amazing guy? Bro, I told you I'm gonna be honest from the get-go. I've been honest, I've been honest the sport since I started seeing the lackluster performances these guys are starting to put. They call themselves the great, but they put on the shit show of a fight, bro. I call them out now. I don't care. I'm a fan of this sport and not a fan of these guys, because at the end of the day, you're gonna get disappointed once you start becoming a fan instead of a fan of this sport. You have to call it out the way it is. I'm gonna call AJ out for his bullshit. I'm gonna call Wilder out for his bullshit. I'm gonna call Tyson Fury out for this bullshit, because at the end of the day, if you so-called think yourself as a great person, you're gonna perform like the way you are, like the way you're supposed to be. And bro, come on, man. I'm not gonna say Wilder is a dangerous guy, and and that fight looked funny to me. And you're gonna get disappointed as soon as that guy Wilder gets in the ring with somebody who's better and he can't knock him out. And you wonder why. Oh, why can't he knock him out? Or why he looks terrible. You got to look at that performance and be like, that's a whatever shit performance. Whatever. You can't look at that performance as it was the greatest knockout of history, bro. It's Helenius. It's literally Helenius who fought Adam Kaunaki, who was supposed to be this amazing guy. Adam Kaunaki, who's supposed to be this amazing guy, and then he got knocked out by Helenius, a guy who in history has some shit performances. He fights Kaunaki, who was an extremely overrated fighter. And now and Helenius is supposed to be built up too. Bro, it was just a shit performance in general. Helenius is not good. And Wilder should not be trying to make it seem like it's an amazing performance. That performance was garbage. As I see it, man, these elites are starting to show themselves on who they are. Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. They're all starting to show themselves that they're just not elite level, and any of them could beat each other at any given day. It's only a matter of time till people start saying, "Oh wow, you're really not an elite fighter, man. You're not. You're really not." Until Wilder can prove to me, I'm gonna put down an elite fighter to sleep for good. I'm not gonna say that performance from yesterday was good. That performance from yesterday was garbage. It's Helenius. I'm gonna keep saying it over and over.
Bro, you've got to give him credit. Come on,
I'm
man.
not giving, bro. Give credit for Helenius.
Helenius have never been knocked out like that. Facts.
But bro, oh
so
my God,
you listen.
bro,
I understand. I can understand you say, yeah, he's slow. He's stuff like. Bro, Wilder knocked him out cold. He's never been done before.
What's the difference between Helenius and Joseph Parker? What's the difference between Helenius and Joseph Parker? What has Wilder shown us that he hasn't shown us that he could do? Did he show us that he could box for a good round? Did he show us he could do some good things? Yeah, he looked good with Tyson Fury, but it just showed you that Tyson Fury was at least a level above a Wilder who can't put together a good boxing style, or who knows how to box properly instead of just throwing that right hand. To me, he didn't show that. To me, he showed that he's still the same Wilder, that he's still off. He still hasn't maintained a good foot when he throws a right hand. Man, that punch looked weird. I'm not gonna say Wilder looked good, but he did not look good. And people trying to hype this shit up again, bro. Come on, man. Stop being a fan of Wilder and be a fan of this sport. It is what it is with that fight. And I'd say, what's the difference?
Give Wilder credit, dude.
I'm not giving
the manner in which he knocked him out, he knocked Helenius out, bro, was awkward and amazing at the same time. We have to give him credit, bro. Adewale, do you want to respond to that, Jack Boy? You want to respond to that, Adewale?
Come on.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, man. Listen, bro. You can't change the world, man. This is a world that has 8 billion people with 8 billion opinions, and no matter what you do, you're wasting your time trying to convince people to think the same way that you do. The best thing you can do for yourself is know what you believe in, stand for what you believe in, and just live your life, period. There is no point trying to convince people to think otherwise. If they disagree or they agree with you, fine, so be it. What I see in Deontay Wilder is nothing but greatness. I have nothing but full respect for Wilder. And if I'm going to point out any criticism, which usually happens to a lot of these fighters, if you're coming back from a defeat, when you get into the ring in the next fight, you've trained properly, you've tried to change your style so that you are looking a little bit different. But then, if what you trained for while fighting, you're implementing what you trained for in the previous camp in your next fight, and it's not favorable for you in the first couple of rounds, you will revert to your former self. So Wilder didn't show us, I mean, we didn't get the opportunity to see if Wilder could sustain some of those things that he had trained for in this training camp, in this fight against Robert Helenius. But at the same time, it's a win for the guy. This guy says, oh, I only have 3 years left in the sport. I probably have 6 to 9 fights. Man, if you only have 9 fights, if you can dispatch these guys earlier, the better for you. That way, the chances of you getting hurt, getting unnecessarily damaged, going long in a fight, it's out of there. If you can take these guys out quickly, do it. Nobody pays you for overtime, man. Especially heavyweight boxing. We don't even care, bro. People are going to pay pay-per-view, even if this fight is going to last 1 round. If it's a one-rounder fight, Mike Tyson back in the days, before this guy even, before the crowd, people were seated completely to settle down and watch a Mike Tyson fight. Some of those fights were over. The guy knocked guys out in like 20 seconds. And Wilder has some similar characteristics. So I'm happy for Wilder. I'm happy he could come back from 2 losses to Fury and still come back with a remarkable knockout victory, highlight reel knockout victory. I have nothing but respect for Deontay Wilder, man. And who's next? Who next? That's my question. Who next?
Well,
okay, listen.
Ty, respond to that. Respond to that before we go to the next one.
Let me agree to what Adewale said. I'll agree just a little bit. But Adewale, with the way Helenius fought, if you was to put, let me say, the top contender, which is Usyk, and mind you, Usyk, man, I underestimated the hell out of that guy. With the way Usyk implements and the way Usyk's foot movement works, you think Wilder can land what he wants to land on Usyk, and Usyk not setting Wilder up for traps and not moving at different angles that Wilder has not seen before. Would Wilder be able to implement that same game plan he did against these guys so far? And Tyson Fury is not as fast.
Okay, let me respond, man. For Usyk, Wilder versus Usyk is a very interesting matchup. Number one, these two guys weigh the same thing, roughly. But since Usyk got to the heavyweight, he became slower. He's not as nimble as he used to when he was a cruiserweight. Usyk now, he's still very, very movey, very shaky. He gives you all types of angles, confuses you, but he's a little bit slower and he's hittable. And I'm telling you what, bro, this man has never been hit with a punch like Wilder's. And for that reason, I give Wilder a very, very solid chance. I don't think that fight is 50-50. I'm going to slightly edge Wilder. But you know what's crazy? When the betting odds come out, because hopefully Wilder fights against Usyk, when the betting odds come out, Usyk is going to be the favorite. And I would advise you to put your money on Wilder because you're going to make money. Usyk is going to get knocked out if one punch lands on Usyk. Trust me. If he doesn't get knocked out, he's going to be wobbled. Okay? And I just don't see Usyk really going the distance, not getting hurt by Wilder. But honestly, if Wilder Usyk doesn't happen next, the next fight that Deontay Wilder has, I hope it goes a little bit longer, maybe 5 rounds. Let's see where the conditioning is, and some other things like the stamina. That way we can gauge how he would perform against Usyk. Let's not mistake the fact that Usyk is a great fighter. Salute to Usyk. But at the same time, he is also getting older. Usyk is getting older. He's slower. He can get hit. AJ landed many good shots on Usyk. Can he take those same shots if they were to come from Wilder? That's the question, man. So interesting.
But two different guys, man. AJ and Wilder are two different guys. One can at least put together a good combination of punches. The other can't. The other relies literally on one punch, man. The way I see it, man, I edge that fight to Usyk when it comes to going the distance, and he's gonna make that fight go the distance.
Wilder will not catch Usyk.
I believe it, man. He just won't. It's not even the performance. It's not the performance, right? It's not the performance. It's Usyk's. You got what plays major role is Usyk's. The way Usyk's stamina is, right? If he's not tired, Wilder will not be able to knock him out, because if he has a good endurance and stamina, a person who's well conditioned will be able to take a good punch. And I believe Usyk has fought at least somebody who has a knockout power. Who has knockout power. Usyk has done that.
I'm surprised if Usyk knocks Wilder out. Trust me.
Well,
I won't be surprised.
Bro, I don't see Usyk knocking one out, but I see him boxing.
Usyk knocked Tony Bellew out, right? He knocked Tony Bellew out.
Yeah, but Usyk cannot
handle
Wilder, bro.
It's a question of chin.
I don't see him knocking Wilder out, bro. I see him outboxing him.
We can all think what we want to think until we see a fight.
Bro, Wilder's got hard, bro.
Wilder has more chances of knocking Usyk out.
Listen, if Wilder could take a beating from Fury like for 4 rounds, even after being bamboozled.
But Wilder told us that Fury is pillow fisted. Before Wilder, how many people has Fury really knocked out? We are acting like we didn't see Fury versus Otto Wallin. Come on, guy. See, this boxing, anything can happen. Wilder, Usyk, I'm telling you, because you all believe that once Wilder hits you, you are going to sleep, doesn't mean that Wilder himself cannot get knocked out. Wilder said to Tyson Fury, "You are a big mama. I was walking through your punches in the first fight. You can't do nothing." What happened in the next 2 fights?
Usyk is a 271, over 273 pounds, bro. Like, you're gonna feel it.
Wilder knocked out Helenius that weighed more than him just last night. So it tells you that the pound doesn't work that way.
Way more than he
knocked out Dominic Brazil at about 270 pounds. So your 270 pounds means nothing.
Helenius came in 253, not 270.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody that Wilder knocked out weighed more than him. Brazil weighed more than Wilder. So it doesn't automatically mean that if you weigh more than someone, you're going to knock them out.
Bro,
so the point I'm saying that
Helenius got power.
Because Tyson Fury weighed more than Wilder doesn't mean that he must knock him out. It doesn't work like that. So what I'm saying is this. If Usyk ever fights Wilder, the chances are slim that Usyk will knock Wilder out, because we don't know Usyk as a knockout artist. But don't be surprised if he knock Wilder, at least knock him down or out, because we saw him knock Tony Bellew out. And when it comes to knockout, and that's the point people like Adewale are refusing to concede to. When it comes to you knocking somebody out, it's not always one punch power. No. You can knock somebody out.
I heard my name. You said, what did you say about Adewale?
Yes, I said that's the point you and some other guys are not considering too. That
what
when
point
it comes to knocking, this is the point. When it comes to knocking somebody out, it's not always your one-shot power that knocks people out all the time, right? That you can get knocked out from exhaustion. Somebody might start boxing you, making you overthink, making you mentally drained, that when the person lands a shot that you don't see, you get knocked out. So that's the point I'm trying to make, that someone like Usyk could have knocked Joshua in the last round of their first fight. I'm telling you, if that fight had lasted another 2 rounds, Joshua might be TKO'd. And everybody will come here, will be saying something serious. Oh, Joshua is a bomb. Until he does that to somebody else.
Let me ask you a question. Did you watch Jermell Charlo versus Erickson Lubin? And did you see that KO?
I didn't watch Charlo and Lubin. I've told you, I've watched Rolly Romero and Gervonta Davis.
No, let me tell you what happened in Charlo Lubin. It was a first round knockout. Both guys were fresh, and the knockout looked strange. The punch landed from a weird angle. A lot of people were like, how is this guy not getting up from the punch? But that's what happens when you get knocked out. You're really hurt.
I'm not see,
Bro,
I'm not
you don't
ruling
need to.
out,
You don't need. You don't
I'm
need
not
to.
ruling
You need
out
to
the fact that
bring out facts. Bring out facts.
I'm not ruling
Okay.
out the
If you're
fact
saying
that
that, if
okay,
you're
let me
saying
let
that
me okay,
one
let,
punch knockout doesn't
let okay, let
exist,
me no, I never
I
said
don't
that.
even understand what you're saying. Are
I
you
never
saying
said
that
that. I said
one punch knockout does not exist unless an opponent is exhausted? Is that what you're saying?
okay, I'm saying the punches that you don't see can knock you out. One punch knockout exists. I've seen it in so many fights to say it doesn't exist. However, it is difficult when on the first round of a fight, when fighters are fresh, that a fighter knocks out another fighter when it's not landing flush. When it's
Then why did
landing,
Jamel Charlo knock out Erickson Lubin with one punch in the first round and he got knocked out? Why?
was it a flush punch? How did
Yes, it
that
wasn't
punch
a
like?
flush. It was not a flush punch. Go watch the highlights. It's on YouTube. Why did that happen? You can explain.
Yes. So it can happen. Maybe that punch hits in the wrong place, wrong spot, or that fighter wasn't like mentally prepared. Many things goes into a fight. Maybe he
Okay,
wasn't mentally or physically
Is
prepared for
Erickson
the
Lubin a
fight.
bomb? Because that's what you said. You said it's either Robert Helenius is a
Three
bomb.
things: is a bomb. One,
Okay.
two is either medically unfit. Maybe he came into the fight sick, or either or one of those things must have happened. Because
So
in a fight, I don't think a professional fighter. I'm not talking of a straight fight. A professional fighter who has trained, who has passed several rounds, should come into a ring in the very first round, and he don't get it flush. He doesn't get it like a Wilder against Dominic Brazil. He's getting it by someone from a defensive standpoint, and is going down in such dramatic fashion. That's like I'm looking at it like, come on, guy. Like the way is going down is making it look like he was hit flush by a crazy punch, and that's not what I saw. I'm like, even if you are going out of the fight, it's not the all the drama you are seeing. This guy is literally lying on the canvas, acting like he's dead, like he cannot come up. Like, bro, are you
okay,
crazy?
so what you're saying now is that
What you
what you're
doing?
saying is Robert Helenius, his knees were buckled, his legs were straight, the man's eyes were wide open, obviously trying to survive at that particular point. You're saying that man was not hurt, or he's not a professional fighter. You're basically not trying to give Wilder. Basically, let me give you the summary of what you're doing.
I'm not saying Wilder. I'm not saying I'm not giving Wilder the credit.
Listen, bro.
No,
you do not want to give Deontay Wilder
no,
the credit for that
no.
knockout.
You
That's
think
all
so?
this is. You're
no,
just
you
going
think,
round and round in
no,
circles.
no.
You're
You
saying
think
all types of things. The
no,
bottom
you
line
think
is,
so?
why don't you just
You
come
think
out
so?
and say it straight? Why don't you just come out and say, listen, I don't like Wilder. I'm not going to give him credit for knocking out Helenius.
I don't dislike.
And we're going to understand. Because right now, you've decided not to give Jamel Charlo the credit for knocking out Lubin in the first round. That's exactly what you're doing. Because right now, I just explained to you. Explained to you that Charlo landed a right hand on Lubin, and Lubin did not get up. He was hurt badly. He got knocked out. But you refuse to give Charlo that credit. You're like, oh no, maybe his opponent was not medically fit. Maybe he had coronavirus. We're saying all types of stuff, bro. Why don't you just go straight to the point?
I have to say the way Clement suggests things, and the way Clement makes suggest things sometimes, you would think he's right there. He's right there with the opponent in the ring.
Like, Clement, how many times have you been punched in the nose? Do you mind if we ask, how many times have you been punched in the nose? Because that's where Helenius got punched. He got punched in the nose badly. It hurts. Just so you know, if you get punched in the nose,
I think I've been punched more than 500 times in my life, because I grew up in a very rough street in Ajegunle.
Nah, bro, that's a lie, man. Bro, even those that grew up in Agege,
what do you know? What do you mean that's a lie?
Bro, those people that grew up in Agege, those people that grew up in Isaleko,
bro,
those people that grew up in the roughest slums of Lagos, Nigeria, they don't get into 500 fights. Are you a professional fighter? How do you get punched 500 times? That's a lie, bro. That's a lie, bro. You never got punched 500 times. That's a lie, bro.
Can you let me speak, please? I didn't say I've got into 500 fights. I've got in fights in school. I've been in fights in streets. I've lived a rough life. So you saying I've not got? I'm saying the number of times I've been hit by much bigger people, much bigger than me. I can't even count it. I went to Ekoma. If you know anything about Ekoma,
all right.
So what I'm telling you,
Clement,
what I'm telling you, let me just quickly put this out. What I'm telling you is, I'm not saying it's totally impossible. I'm talking about, and let Adewale get this point because it's misconstruing everything. I'm just saying that the reaction of Helenius, even if it was knocked out, the reaction of Helenius to that punch doesn't correlate from what I'm watching. It's an eye view. It doesn't correlate with what someone who is a trained boxer should do. Maybe Wada was that good, but Helenius, I'm talking more, criticizing Helenius more than giving Wada the credit. So because I'm
Erickson
criticizing
Lubin was
Helenius,
not a trained
it's
fighter
looking
too.
like I'm not giving Wada the credit. And
Erickson
saying this
Lubin
guy is
was not a
acting like
trained fighter as well too. Okay, we
and I
understand.
said this
All
guy
right,
is
all right,
acting,
all right, all right, Clement,
acting
let's
like
not go the way of last
Bro,
night.
that's why I said
Let's
don't
not go to
overthink it, man.
let's not go the way of last
Don't
night. So
overthink it.
now
It's
the next
Helenius.
question goes to Tyler Jegby now. You guys were muted. And then Adewale will also comment. Ty, Wilder next opponent is probably going to be Andy Ruiz Jr. How do you see that fight?
Wilder, I think there's a likely chance of Wilder winning by unanimous decision. That I think Wilder will win by UD.
You don't see him knocking out Andy Ruiz Jr.?
No, I don't see it.
Why not?
I don't see it. Andy Ruiz Jr. has shown that he does have a chin because he's getting up multiple times. Wilder will land, but I don't think he'll keep Andy Ruiz down. I just think Wilder will outbox Andy Ruiz, who really only works off counter punches and maybe tries to land an illegal punch here and there. But I don't see Andy Ruiz beating Wilder at all. I don't see that as a competition, to be honest.
Well, thanks, brother. Adewale.
Man, I hope Wilder gets the Usyk fight next, not Andy Ruiz. Ruiz is an okay fight, but I'm not just that excited. But I guess Americans are excited because it's a clash between two former world champions. One is Mexican, one is African American. There is that rivalry that would make that fight sell in the US. But other than that, I'm not really excited about the fight. How do I see that fight happening? I think I would obviously favor Wilder, and he could get that knockout. Ruiz is much tougher than Helenius, in my opinion. Ruiz is faster than Helenius, even though he looks extremely fat and slobby. Don't be deceived. Andy Ruiz has very good hand speed. And he's tough. He has a good chin too. So it's going to be a tougher fight, but I believe Wilder would line him up. Wilder has it easier with guys that are much shorter than him anyways. So it would line him up and most likely knock him out.
Thanks, brother. Clement.
Ruiz Jr. and Wilder is going to be a very interesting matchup. Wilder is good with shorter fighters. Recall I said from the beginning, when it comes to a fight, nobody can be 100%, no matter how much you think you know. But if you go memory lane, we'll know that Wilder is good with shorter fighter. Wilder fought this guy, what's his name? This guy that Derek Chisora knocked out in 2 rounds. That guy was outboxing Wilder for 10 rounds. I keep forgetting his name. This short guy, the southpaw guy.
Out of speaker.
He took Wilder 10 rounds. But at some point, he figured him out and knocked him out. I don't really rate Atos Speaker because expectedly we would have said, oh, this guy took Wilder 10 rounds. But look at what Sugar did to him in 2 rounds. But fights don't go that way. You know, it's like a blend of styles and all that. Ruiz is good at fighting taller fighters too. Ruiz has fought a lot of tall fighters because there are not a lot of short fighters in today's world in heavyweight boxing. You know, it's not like more like the Mike Tyson era, and that's one advantage or one area whether it's better than AJ. AJ finds it more difficult fighting shorter fighters, but I see why he seems to have success when he fights shorter fighters. So when it comes to that, I'm gonna give Wada some edge against Ruiz because, like Adewale said, Wada at some point will be able to line it up and land. And if what we saw yesterday is real, then we can forget about it. It's just about whether lining Ruiz up and landing. But I think Ruiz chin is gonna hold up strong to wider punch than a Robert Helenius. Because Robert Helenius I saw yesterday, he was a disappointment, a total disgrace. So I think it's gonna be more
Bro,
of
it
a
was already
competitive fight.
disgrace, bro. He's got hit,
Where is
by
my
a
opinion?
puncher. Anyways, your
I
opinion.
feel it's a disgrace, but I think
You cannot call a fighter disgrace, bro. Except you are a fighter
Ruiz,
yourself and you go in there.
yeah,
So
Ruiz,
they will see here if who's the
yeah,
disgrace, bro. Anyways, big ups to you. Now let's get about here to talk about. Listen, if for example Water does not fight and Junior, like if let's say it doesn't happen, Clement mute, bro. Your hand mute that big. So if that fight doesn't manifest, what do you guys make of the Joe Joyce fight? How does that fight go? Tajabwe.
Bro, honestly, man, I can't even say I know much, man. Because right now I'm a little bit confused with Joe Joyce on whether if that chin is real or not. You know what? We could test out whether the chin is real or not against Wilder and Joe Joyce. Why not? Let's see if Wilder's punch is real or not. Let's see if Joe Joyce's chin is real or not. Let's see. Joe Joyce is supposedly has the hardest chin in the division, which I don't think so. I just think he hasn't fought a puncher yet. And Wilder is supposed to be a puncher, which I don't believe either. I just think he hasn't fought. He fought an elite, supposedly, and that he wasn't able to knock out an elite. I don't think Wilder can knock out an elite fighter. You know, that's my opinion. And same goes for Joe Joyce, man. I just feel like he hasn't fought an elite fighter that has punch behind him. Joseph Parker, yeah, it was a good win for Joe Joyce, but at the same time, when has Parker looked good? When has he looked good? Maybe 2017. That was the last time he looked good. Maybe against Andy Ruiz. That was the last time he looked good. But it all comes into play because Joe Joyce employs Dr. Usman. You know who that guy is. So you don't know what kind of stuff is in this guy's system. 1 minute he looks good, and the next he doesn't. You know. So it's all a matter. Yeah, let's entertain that fight. I don't mind seeing that fight. Let's mix it up, man.
Thanks, brother. Adewale. What about you? Your quick take.
Yeah, so the question is what do I think about Wilder versus Joe Joyce?
Yeah, how does that fight go?
Man, listen, I respect Joe Joyce a lot. I think that fight is 50-50. I'm just being honest with you guys, man. Listen, Wilder knows how to punch. Joe Joyce has a great chin. Okay, because I've seen Joyce take flush punches from Daniel Dubois. He didn't buckle. The man came straight back forward for another punch. I seen him take flush punches from Joseph Parker. Parker is not one of the hardest punchers you will come across, but he's decent. And Joyce came back forward. He just blinked. Joyce, to me, the guy is not normal. Okay. And then recently, what confirmed my suspicions? In an interview, Joyce said, "Oh, I found out that I have 5 times the bone density of a normal human." I'm like, yeah, there was something suspicious about this guy, man. So Joe Joyce is not normal. He's not a regular human being. Wilder too has a supernatural right hand. Let's just keep it real. I don't know where that came from. So that will be a good matchup. I don't see that fight happening simply because Wilder at this point in his career is looking for big fights only. The only way that fight happens is if they offer Wilder, okay, listen, Deontay, we're going to give you $20 million to fight Joe Joyce. Yes, then that fight might happen. Other than that, that fight is not going to happen. Period. He would rather go for Andy Ruiz because the Ruiz fight will be pay-per-view. It will generate a lot of money.
Is champion then?
If Joyce is champion, man. Bro, that fight is 50-50 either ways. Because, bro, Joyce is going to keep coming forward. You can't knock him out with one punch. You need to land many one punches to knock out Joyce. And Joyce is big, strong, He throws 1,000 punches per fight. He leaves his chin open, to be honest, in all fairness, and Wilder is going to capitalize on that. But if he cannot hurt Joyce quickly, or God forbid, if Wilder breaks his hand early in the fight against Joe Joyce, that's a problem, man. But at the same time, Joyce might just get clipped and get knocked out. So that fight is very interesting, man. But I just don't see that fight happening.
Thanks, what Clement, your take on this?
Adewale and Silva has said like a lot of what I could have said or I have to say. Yes, if Joe Joyce and Wilder happen, Joe Joyce has been knocked out before, so we cannot just sit here and act
as a professional, no. As a pro, as an amateur, yeah, he got knocked out twice in amateur.
Does your chin? My question is this: does your chin improve or changes immediately you become a professional?
Well, you have to. It's different. It's different fight. It's different gloves.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The gloves are different, bro.
That's what I say.
As an amateur, you are like you're not mentally prepared to go to war yet.
Because as an amateur, you are fighting an amateur like yourself, right?
You're not prepared to go to war yet. You know, you just prepared to win the fight. You know.
No, my question is, if you are in the amateurs, do you fight amateurs like yourself, or do you fight professional fighters?
Of course, you fight amateurs like yourself. Why not?
Okay, so if Joyce was in the amateur and he was knocked out in the amateur by a fellow amateur fighter, I don't believe he's unstoppable. He can't be knocked out.
I didn't say he's unstoppable.
No, I'm not saying what you said. I'm just saying what I feel. I believe Joyce can be knocked out. No human is supernatural as far as I'm concerned. Anybody can get beat by the right man. It all depends on punch placement. I believe Joyce himself has a chink in been able to discover that and utilize it. Overall, as it stands today, his defense, his chin looks impregnable. But if the Wilder we saw last night is a Wilder that will come in every fight, if a Wilder who can knock somebody out from more like a defending position attacks Joe Joyce in in an attack mode, clean flush punch, I can see Joe Joyce getting knocked out. Now, if Joe Joyce's chin is as celebrated as granite, like we've seen, all of us has concluded it to be, then it's going to be a 50-50 because I know that Wilder won't have the skill. I didn't see him display any skill yesterday. I'm just moving around the ring, really. I didn't see Wilder display any skill. He was just moving around, maybe trying to warm up to gather some steam for the fights. The fight that lasted for one round, so I can't use yesterday's fight. I'm going to use all these prior performances. Then I would say that Wilder, at some point, if he's unable to knock Joyce out, because Joyce has so much of a strong chin, I see Wilder being beat by him because his one punch won't affect him. We just keep coming forward and take him out. That's what's going to happen. Because we should not forget that Wilder himself doesn't have the best chin. He doesn't have the best chin. So if Joyce catches Wilder, my brother, it's going to be night for Wilder. So I'm going to lean towards what Adewale said, that fight is more like a 50-50. You know, anything can happen in that fight. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Thanks, but I appreciate your take. Do you guys wanna say something? You have something in mind you wanna spit out before we vermouth?
Yeah, I want to say that me and Adewale, we have to be placed in a show of what is called a casual versus an expert show, so that we can analyze boxing and see who's the casual and who's the experts, as the case may be. You know what I mean?
Man, no, I don't pass. You're not a casual guy,
I
you know.
don't-
Nah.
I don't-
We're just boxing fans, man.
I don't-
See, we're boxing fans. Boxing is a very emotional sport. If I find you trying to disrespect my guy, I will be offended and I would react.
no,
That's
no,
just how
no.
it is.
I agree. I agree with Adebayo to some point because before now, I was so much involved in AJ that sometimes I don't want to even watch his fight because I was so much emotionally invested. But as time went by, I discovered that, man, come on, these guys are making money for themselves. Some of them will come to the ring, like Anthony Direy was talking about. Ain't no white boy knocking me out, bro. Just shut up. Shut up. You're going to fight for your pockets. You are not going to share your money with black people when you win. Stop all that crap. Go to the ring. Do your best. You are a professional. Some of us do 9 to 5 jobs. Do side hustle. You wake up in the morning. You go train. You do everything. You use your pre-workout. Some of you even use PEDs. You use it.
Yeah, but they also
It is
put
not-
their life on the line. You don't put your
make-
life on the line. They also put their life on the line, bro.
That's what they choose. The pilot put his life on the line. People that work in the oil rig or the river or the water put their life in the line. People eat their job. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So what am I trying to establish? I'm trying to say that I've learned to just enjoy this sport, criticize whoever I want to criticize, be it AJ, Wilder, Joyce, I don't care, Fury. I'd rather because that boy is just a confirmed liar. That's why I just wake up in the morning and start lying aimlessly. So I criticize these boys. I don't want to be emotionally invested in any of them because I know your sense of judgment becomes beclouded when you are invested in some of these boxers. And I understand for people that still really have an emotional leanings or benefits like Blue Blood Sports TV. What can never go wrong in his estimate? It's impossible. Even if and say it's coming to destroy Blue Blood will tell you, oh yeah, that's fine. That's what Cham do. So I'm saying like, yeah, it's time to enjoy the boxing that was this Adewale. Like, this guy, it's time for all of them to mix it up. Get in there, make your money, mix it up, and give us the fans what we want to see. But what I don't want to see is maybe, I might be wrong, me paying so much money to watch a fight, whether it's pay-per-view or I subscribe, and I'm seeing a 1 round, 2 minutes knockout. I feel like, come on, I take that risk myself. I go in there, Wada land your right hand on me and let me go sleep and just give me $300,000. I'm telling you, I won't even be on here discussing why that. I'll be somewhere enjoying that money. So I'm saying I want to see a better fight. Like if you're not well prepared, that's wrong. You don't have business in the ring. Put in your
All
best,
right,
give the
all
fans
right.
money value, and let's keep it going. That's
All
what
right.
that's
Okay,
my
guys, you
take.
heard it from our brothers. I don't know if Adewale wants to say something or Ty Jagbe or you guys are done for today. Catch up with you guys again soon. And yeah, I do appreciate each and every one of you. Big ups to you, bro, Ty. Ty, by the way, did you watch before we go, yes. Did you the Clash of Cheese fight? Did you watch it, Ty?
Yeah, man. Excellent performance from Clarissa Shields. Excellent performance. Clarissa Shields needs to be honest, man. She
Clement,
knows,
can you mute on your end, please?
She knows Savannah Marshall did not hit hard. She's just trying to, be nice. But I think Clarissa Shields, well imposed. She knew what she was doing, man. Man, oh man, excellent fighter. No, I got nothing bad to say about Clarissa Shields. Well deserved.
What about Alicia Bob Garner and Michaela Mayer?
Well, Michaela Mayer kind of shot herself in the foot and dug her own grave. She should never said she wouldn't give a rematch to what I don't know how to say it. She should never said that, right? Now this fight was called a draw, or it should have been a draw, and now whatever, I forgot her name, said she's not gonna give her a rematch because she said the same thing. So you gotta hold the same. You gotta do the same thing. She said the same thing. I'm gonna do the same thing. Now she's got to work her way up. Simple as that. If you think you just is that good, you would have won. But you were. It's not. You didn't win convincingly. The shot went to the win. The W went to the champion. Simple as that, man. Simple. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Sometimes you need to shut your mouth when it comes to fights.
Yes, bro. That's right. Anyways, you also I don't know if you watched the Caroline Dubois fight. You know, the little sister of Fernand Dubois.
No, I missed that one. I didn't even know she was fighting.
She fought on the card. Very impressed by her. Anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for coming through, and catch up with you guys very soon.
All right, brother.
Respect, bro.
Wow.